Welcome back to Disco, guys, and welcome back to the boardwalk. So, after talking to the chaps in the tent last time, we came over to the boardwalk here and we found this body, and it looks like the working class woman's husband. He's got the same brown leather jacket with the blue lining, but we're going to identify him here. So, we just need to look at his library card. A library card found from a pocket of the dead man on the Martinez boardwalk is still slightly damp to the touch. The cover bears the stamp of Jamrock Public Library.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53.
Billy Mejean.
Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member.
Look inside.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too.
Okay. Look at the back side.
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Morell Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours 900 to 1800.
I've forgotten the name. Billy Mejean. Billy Mejean.
We should first decide what to do with the body before taking any other actions. Let's take another look at the body and talk things through.
There's the trash can here.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Let's look at the tear.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
A tragedy.
The lieutenant looks in the can, eyes watering from the smell.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
What about the cigarette packet?
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra.
And the kebab?
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief.
This coin-operated viewer has been out of order for years. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. The wind's very strong.
A man lies on the boardwalk.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
Hold on, what about a field autopsy? We found him, we should finish it. Let's leave this case for the station. I don't want to spend time on it. Now, what about a field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me. I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work.
But isn't that kind of sloppy?
Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing will take care of the rest.
We found him, we should finish it.
Alright, we've already examined the library card. Let's call the Jamrock Library for my kinema, see if we can learn anything about this Billy Mejean. And while we're there, we should also call the station, let them know that we are taking the case.
Okay. Another dead body, this time on the Martinez boardwalk on the coast. We'll search the man's remains and follow the leads to see if we can verify his identity. So we need to call the public library and call the station. Alright. What a shame. Okay, let's explore this area then, because we're going to have to go all the way back to the Whirling in Rags to use the Kinema. What is this place? Bars cover these long, dusty windows. Field electrical. Recherche development.
You see, a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Tomorrow's just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
The lieutenant raises the collar of his bomber jacket. Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. The fence blocks the path. No way on from here. Hey, there's the cryptozoologist. I think we need some sort of hand-eye coordination skill to open these things. The beams are splintered. The bridge didn't collapse on its own. Artillery broke it. Relax, it's not yours. You didn't crash every motor carriage in Revachol, hopefully. Alright, chaps. What have we got here? No boat in the boathouse today. No Safed. Ooh, oversized superstar glasses. Savoir-faire. Yeah. Now we picked up 2 pairs of glasses, right? Our visual calculus is unnecessarily high. Is it being... No, that's logic. Let's stick these on. I'd like some more savoir-faire, thank you. How do we look? Oh, they're massive. I'd like my suggestion back anyway. Let's just have a little look around for any items before we talk to the chaps. The boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of this shaded bench covered in rust. It's an old cinema or theatre. The sign says "Entrée interdite." Sorry, it's obviously French. Interdite, not Italian. People paid money to park here. No one would pay now. I thought we could climb over.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Look, Kim. Even more bullet holes. Something's definitely gone down here in the past.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez's sense. Grim affairs.
The lieutenant examines the wall closely.
Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
Why not?
The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world.
Yeah, fascinating. So, like, their attitude to automatic weaponry was like our attitude towards nuclear weapons. Right? Visual calculus. Damn it. I can never remember which is which. Let's try again. Should be
Scattering of
70.
bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner
Another
to the
83. Another 83.
other. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound. No movement.
God, it was a shooting gallery for communists.
10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
What is this?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Let's have a look at the people against the wall.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
Who were they?
Collateral damage on the path toward normalcy and progress. Such is your belief, officer.
Not really.
Maybe you should change it. They were praying, screaming.
I think that collateral damage is more part of the beliefs of at the extremes, but I guess people could take the moralist view towards this as well, but I wouldn't, personally. I resent that comment, empathy. Esprit de corps, sorry. The line of soldiers.
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one?
About the person standing on the side, the officer.
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air, the lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
Who was who in this execution? I'm guessing these are the communists.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution.
At first, the lieutenant doesn't say a word, he just stares at the wall. He finally says,
Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
I mean, given the uniform. Oh, hello. That looks a bit like Rene, right?
It could even have been the employees of the Feld R&D Center down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolutionaries.
True. They look like soldiers, though.
Or maybe.
What about the people from the coalition, the so-called moralists?
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was a commandant.
Yeah.
Superior giving the orders.
Mm.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures.
Interesting. I've not had a look at what my numbers are at the minute. Superstar Cop, Sorry Cop still 7, Boring Cop is 6, Apocalypse 1. See, look, I'm pretty spread here, man. I've got 8 for Fascist. Jesus. 9 for Moralist. Just about staying ahead. Good Cop, Bad Cop 11 and 4 for Honor. Didn't realise I got 8 for Fascist. Jesus. Yeah, I guess I remember saying to someone at a job once that, oh, found people. The hell is this? Oh, it's a hat. That looks awful, dude. Yeah, I remember just saying, like, if if a lot of the time, the term right wing, I think, is so associated through history with such bad things that you forget that certain things in political policies are right leaning, and just having going full left with policies. The door is not only barred shut; it's inaccessible. Like things to do with certain tax and things like that, are right-leaning things. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that. See, I'm such a moralist fence sitter right here. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. It's not that I believe in sitting on the fence. I just rather believe in the context of a situation. Tiny cages, carefully constructed. Hey, there's chaps. I'm just looking around for...
That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. Kind of out of the way, being so close to the water.
What's this about?
Nothing. Just a hunch. The hunch passes, leaving you there, by the old boy bobbing in the water. Time to go.
A boy bobs in the water. A number on it says 11. Oh, man. These heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes, crumbling. I'm pretty sure that these are the cryptozoologists. Lots of people out there. Miss the good old days. These soggy logs smell of ignition fluid. Still, they won't light up. Hello there, Mr. Cryptozoologist.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
Hello.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Gary the crypto-fascist.
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
Is he Australian? He must be Morell, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the A81.
Yeah, that was me. I broke the water lock with my motor carriage, but it's fixed now. You can go back.
You broke the water lock with a motor carriage? But there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter.
I guess you're right. It really was the sign's fault. Anyway, you can go back now. No, it was all me. I caused you a delay and I'm sorry. But you can return now.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
I will.
This is a man possessed, always on the brink of some breakthrough. He won't leave if there's a sliver of hope. The great find might happen today.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting that has come loose in the wind.
For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him.
Tell me more about this phasmid.
Which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for him.
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find. Didn't say that. Why?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators or scientists in our present case.
I refuse to dismiss this guy. What techniques?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
Okay.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid.
How big is it?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodeozoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
He leaves the conclusion up to you. That is terrifying. Why are you so interested in this stick bug? It doesn't seem to be as colourful as some of the other cryptids I've heard about.
typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for.
He flashes you a sideways smile.
Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defences, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
He shakes his head. Yeah, I meant to say, guys, I think I'm on about 35 hours in this now, and, you know, before I start a playthrough, I'll just do a quick check on howlongtobeat.com just to see how long a playthrough might be. You know, if I've just finished a long one, I might want to do a short one and vice versa. And it said this was like 30 hours. I mean, I'm glad it's not, because I'm having a great time, but I wonder who's got... I wonder if you can just solve the case really quickly with the right starts. What have you discovered about this phasmid so far?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one?
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
He holds up an index finger.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
Cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough, that even he seems to be taken aback by it.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
What would it be like to grasp and hold onto something you think is next to you, or just behind you, like a trace of vapor you exhaled one spring morning as a child? This is what he's searching for, a spectre.
I mean, there are things in the world that we really can't perceive. I always remember learning about, when we were doing perception and stuff, about, you know, about the eyes and the different cones in the eye, and how birds or certain birds have more color cones in their eyes than we do. We only have 3, right? We only have all the light that we see is made up of a mixture of the black-white cone, the green-red, and the blue-yellow. All the light mixes together from them. That's where kind of, if you have a form of color blindness, it's not really blindness, you don't have one of those cones. So you have to mix with the other color cones. But birds have more than 3. I think they have 6. And so they could see hues of color that are completely imperceivable, I guess, to us. And there are even some humans who are born with a 4th color cone in their eyes, so they'll be able to see hues of color that quite simply don't exist to you or me. And you know, there are animals that have sense organs that we don't have, like, you know, like a lot of fish have the ability to like a sonar sense, you know, like a hammerhead shark. Its face evolved that way so that it has the ability to perceive more sonar, I guess. And that's another organ, a sense organ. We can only imagine it might feel like a vibration, but that's not what it feels like. Lena said there's been a sighting of it here in Martinez.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Maybe it's extinct.
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
He shakes his head vigorously. What's parthenogenesis? Damn it. Parthenogenesis?
Yes. The females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions.
Females reproducing without males, a travesty, a crime against passion and common sense. This arouses no special feeling. Yeah, that's pretty clever. What, asexual? Is that what it means?
Yes. Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
Yes.
There's nothing dispassionate about the way he talks about the insect.
What about these traps? How do they work?
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
How do they work?
Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
What are you using as bait if no one's ever really had one before?
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
That's a bit of a risky assumption.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm.
So Lena designed them,
Yes.
he says with some pride.
More than some, he admires this about her.
What will you do if they don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing.
Okay.
Yes. What?
How did you become a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up, if you prod a little.
So you're living out a dream here?
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
His eyes narrow. Have you ever discovered a cryptid yourself?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality.
Yeah.
It's even in the name, cryptid.
How many have actually been found? None.
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemnee, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Only 2?
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Grad, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere.
I mean, the notion of a mystery that's only just out of reach. There's like a thing in human nature where, like, reality is just never enough for people, right? You know, it's why people love science fiction a lot of the time. You know, why some people, I guess, why a lot of people believe in aliens, or why they believe in gods. Like the plain, I guess, and boring reality of our existence just isn't enough for a lot of people, right? I think that's where a lot of the skepticism of certain things comes from, you know? The desire for there to be something else, to be something more. It's kind of like a twisting of the fear of death, right? You want to believe that there's something beyond it, right?
We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves. More so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
And the Insulindian phasmid will be the third then.
Indeed. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From Revachol to Dushan too. It will be a zoological miracle.
He doesn't smile, just looks you in the eye. It's a forceful gaze. I'm not going to say this because saying real animals is a bit insulting to his work. Thanks for explaining it.
Yes?
I think it's time to return to your wife, your woman.
By woman, you mean my wife, I assume. I will return to her. I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Okay. He looks south where Lena would be.
Come on, Morell. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
Yes.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
Maybe it's the way you stood, mate. That's why you're up to your balls.
Won't let Lena down. Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the phasmid somehow.
I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting. On record. One of only 4 this century. And it's hers.
She's seen it.
Really? She sighted the phasmid?
Yes. That's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
He coughs, then continues.
Needless to say, you must ask her about
Yeah.
the mysterious phasmid.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Another cough into his fist this time. Okay, I understand. I don't give up on things either.
Good. A good quality to have. Both for a police officer and an experimental zoologist.
I could go for some trap setting.
What if we check them for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
He looks at you with obvious surprise. Very similar work. You have to be thorough.
Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence.
I'm going to regret this. What do I do if there's a phasmid in one of the traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
Where are the traps?
There
Here.
are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them,
He gestures to the trap in front of him.
you should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
I don't know if my journal's going to make a note of these. Alright. We've got, south by the boathouses. We've got Land's End to the northeast by the church and near the canal. What, where we crossed? Got you.
That seemed like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
The pursuit of knowledge is its own justification, Kimmy.
Is it?
He doesn't look too convinced, but the small shrug indicates why not.
If you think it's important, you have been right before.
What if I encounter the Phasmid?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed.
Takes out a small white spray can.
It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
Lay it on me.
Wise choice.
Douses you with the odd-smelling spray, then gives you a satisfied nod.
It's not so different from the putrefaction of the Hanged Man, actually.
Great.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
Alright, Kimmy.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in his pocket. Right, let's get to it.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted and in need of assistance.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too. But what if the information is vital? On the hunt. What about his eager-to-leave friend Gary there? Talk to him too, perhaps.
Alright. What about specific cryptids?
All right. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what.
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but decides against it. Since you've offered to help, you need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard about from Lena or his friend Gary. He won't just talk.
I know all about the kind green ape. Look, I even have a kind green ape pen.
I see you've been talking about cryptids with Lena. The kind green ape is one of her favourites.
A warm wave passes him. Of course, the kind green ape is her favourite, he thinks.
We travelled to South Safra to look for it once. Gary and I got stuck in a rainstorm though, and had to spend most of our time there in a little village. The search was fabulously unsuccessful, but the people were very nice. I'm glad they didn't understand what Gary was saying about them.
What? South Safra? They're just on a different rung of the ladder, Morell. I had no problem with them.
Oh, this guy believes in like the racial hierarchy nonsense.
Really? You kept complaining about how dirty everything is. We digress.
They're a nascent culture. I just didn't feel comfortable. And let's change the topic, okay? Talk about your critters. Or whatever.
He mumbles something.
Yes, back to cryptozoology. You don't want to sow disagreement between friends.
Just tell me about a cool one.
No offence, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence.
He brushes an errant strand of hair from his eye.
This is a gruff man who's been ridiculed too many times to feel comfortable talking about what's dearest to his heart. It's in his shoulders. His face is everything.
Fair enough.
By all means.
Alright, let's talk to this guy. Alright, we've got another point which I'm going to put into South Affair, I think. What's it? I like suggestions been popping up with some good stuff. Yeah, let's get one into suggestion. I quite like suggestion. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help us out, officer.
Yes.
Yellow man. I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook.
Jesus.
Yellow man. That sounds awfully familiar. Something to keep in mind for later.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morell to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Not a lover of the outdoors, are we, Captain Racist?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Nobody's perfect. I'm sure you've been tempted to drink. I don't know. He seems like a bit of a born-again type.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revachol.
His gaze shifts to the pile of soggy logs at his feet.
He pronounces Revachol with a hard K, unlike other people. Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is.
Revachol?
I like to pronounce it the hard way. The old way. The Vespertine way.
He nods solemnly.
He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too, perhaps. It's odd. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably. Garbage. You're a true patriot, and you know how it's said. The Seren way. The fine way. With an elegant s.
You know anything about the man hanged behind the whirling in rags?
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
So it might be his apartment, his little room that we went into with all the mugs.
So you do know something about it?
No. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it. That's all.
He's not feeling very comfy in his clothes, is he? Strange.
Is this your mug?
My mug? Why would you think that?
His eyes widen at the sight of the mug. He's seen it before, all right.
You said yellow man. That's not something many people go around saying. Seemed as if you were calling to it longingly when you cried, "Yellow man." I can see you recognize it. It's in your eyes. You look like the kind of guy who might have a collection of mugs like this home in his colonial mug collection. I can see you recognize it. It's in your eyes.
I may have had a similar looking mug in the past. That's all.
Just admit it, man. You put the mug in the trash container behind the whirling. Still seems suspicious. Did I mention the mug was found at the scene of a lynching? Right, I believe you. You look like the kind of man who knows it's a crime to lie to an officer. Still seems suspicious. Did I mention the mug was found at the scene of a lynching?
Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer.
He pauses.
You're not going to find me, are you?
We might get more information out of him if we omit the fine. I don't know, should we just fine him for being a bit of an arse? Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay, I deserve that. And I won't do it again. You have my word.
He accepts the slip of copy paper with a bow.
I don't know what got into me. Stuffing my garbage in another man's property, I've been having trouble at work lately. The Koikos are price dumping us out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
How did you get in the trash container?
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Why would you need to get into everyone's trash? We need that key.
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Chimeans run it like a mob.
He says, bowing shamefully like a fallen knight.
I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
He might have been more likely to give us the key if we wouldn't have found him.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows and looks up.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Oh, no, don't start again, hay fever. Oh, no. Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling and rags, into that trash container?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
Go on, then.
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling.
Yes,
People
yeah.
are animals, you know?
What happened?
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly.
He changes his mind mid-sentence.
Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
The lieutenant remarks drolly.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before. But where?
It's that strange sound. The armour.
What sound?
That clinking I just heard when you moved.
Really?
He fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless.
There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash. Could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby.
That's a perception check coming up.
The sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about the victim's missing armour, would you?
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
Let's move on.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
He's visibly relieved it's over.
Wait, does this mean you've been in his apartment on Everart's behalf? That was his colonial mug collection. Perhaps this could soften him up further.
Okay, why he's shifting around like that? Analyse his composure. Are you a cryptozoologist too?
No. I help Morell with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
There probably is a follow-up to this, but you can't think of any. Doesn't matter. Waste of time anyway.
Yep.
Gotta keep moving.
You were surprised to see Kimmy.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sale. I meant no offense, truly.
Yes, what are they doing in that sol of theirs? Scheming. The lieutenant is a native of Revachol.
Oh, yes. Of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections. Let's change the subject, okay?
He flashes an impenetrable smile. So, Gary, you live nearby in an apartment in Martinez.
Sure do, officer.
His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going.
Have you found your door open lately? And you're a big man from Heimdall fan. Mr. And you're a big Man from Heimdall fan.
How?
The colour drains from his face. Mr. Everard Clare thought it unnecessary to unlock your apartment. I saw the poster in your apartment. You know, I'm a Heimdallman fan myself. I saw that ridiculous poster in your apartment along with all your other colonialist memorabilia. I don't want to mention Claire because he's going to think that we're bought and paid for. Let's keep an air of authority with this. I saw that ridiculous poster in your apartment, along with all your other colonialist memorabilia.
But why were you in my apartment, officer?
Oh man, I don't want to mention Everard. I don't want to say favour. Mr. Everard Clare asked me to get your door open. I figured I'd take a look around while I was at it.
So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send the muscle after me.
The man looks around, whispering. He makes sure no one hears you talk.
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
Really, I don't even know what it was about. I just opened the door. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but he doesn't like you. Try not to shit yourself, Gary. It's just an open door. Yeah, I don't know what it was about.
Whatever it is, tell him I'm silent as the grave. I was probably talking too loud in the whirling the other night about some theories. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help if I can.
Okay.
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together.
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
The lieutenant remarks with a smirk.
He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have changed his mind about the whole door-opening operation.
If we miss this check, I'm going to be royally pissed. Composure. We've got some buffs that we can put on composure, right? Composure's already got a +2 though. We've not got a hat on. No. No, I think we've got all the composure buffs on. Oh. This better be like 100 now.
Always a pleasure to... I mean, officers.
Is he? He's looking comfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads. Sounded like beads. But what kind of beads might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes?
Are you taking the piss, man? That's not on that, dude. That is just ridiculous. What did we roll? Snake eyes? Those prayer beads.
I don't pray, officer. Faith in non-existent helpers is a sign of weakness. Not for proper Revacholian men such as ourselves.
I'm really pissed about that. How did we just miss a 97? I mean, I've been wanting to put points into composure anyway, right? And it's got a bonus from items that are going to go down in a second, so... Man, that's ridiculous. That is
I mean,
ridiculous.
officers.
So 97 is the highest possible chance you can have because you always have. If you roll snake eyes, it always loses. All right, right.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
Something more underneath it?
Yes, like a piece of ceramic armour, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I see you're a connoisseur of high-quality combat gear.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer.
He sighs heavily.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once.
He unbuttons the shirt.
I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
Well, we kind of did the same thing when we stole the boots, but never mind. You see gleaming white ceramic shine underneath. A thin layer of interlocking plates covers his gaunt torso.
This shame is surprisingly sincere.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morell. I've got apologizing to do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
The lieutenant's tone is icy. Give me it now. Do you know who killed the hanged man? Why did you really put those clothes in the trash? Do you know who killed the hangman?
I always thought it was the Union, but I sure as hell won't go around saying that anymore. You have my word. I don't know, and I won't be running my mouth on this subject anymore.
Why did you lie to me?
Because I was weak. I should have told you the moment I saw you, but...
Says, staring at nothing in particular. Only because we caught you.
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later.
Why did you really put those clothes in the rubbish?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling.
He looks at his feet.
So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
His lips start quivering.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
The lieutenant jots something down in his notebook.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
He shakes his head. Just judge people as individuals, you dickhead.
It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not belie emotions.
Give me that.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat, but so light to hold, like a bag of cotton.
Are we done, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word.
Thank you. Cuirass. Pain threshold volition, but -1 to empathy. Damn it. Is it a jacket or... No. Excuse me. The hay fever's coming back. No. What shirt do I want on? Logic. Yeah, I'll sit with logic for now. Right, we've nearly got another level up anyway. Oh, the shoes, that's what I wanted to get rid of. There we go. Yeah, so we'll get Savoir-Faire up to 8 next. We need to put the point into drama to go and talk to Clashy.
be on our way soon. Thank you again for lending a hand.
Did you know Gary was hiding the armour?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks.
Yeah.
But dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
The man mutters in the distance. He doesn't dare say more.
He's still glad his friend stood up for him.
Alright. So we've got some traps to check. South by the boathouses, Land's End, in the northeast by the church and near the canal, and then we need to come back here after we've checked them. So I'm just going to see if I can see where they are first. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to end this episode here though, guys. We will investigate these traps in the next episode. We've got a bunch of new quests. Yeah. Oh, it's got the locations written there. Sweet. The drama one hasn't opened back up yet, unfortunately. But yeah, interesting. We learnt all about cryptoplasmids again. And the cryptozoologist Morell. We'll go and talk to Lena when we go back in that direction, but we're going to be pulling an all-nighter, it seems. We haven't really got any hint as to the locations of the possible sniper. Check Land's End, check the boardwalk, and check Island. The bullet traces. This will take some checking out of locations. It's a bit hypocritical that we stole the boots and now we've got the cuirass off him. Anyway, we'll leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave me a like on the video if you did, and just remember, everybody, never trust an on-crate. I'll see you back in Revachol.